Here is a statistic that should genuinely disturb you. 90% of Americans will reach retirement age without enough money to sustain themselves. Not 10%, not 20%, 90%. That means if you put 10 people in a room, 9 of them will spend their entire working lives grinding, hustling, and sacrificing, and still end up financially dependent on the government, their kids, or pure luck just to survive their final years. And the most painful part? Most of them worked hard. Most of them were not lazy. Most of them did everything they were told to do. So what went wrong? Today, we are cracking open the real reasons why 90% of people never build wealth, and more importantly, exactly what the other 10% are doing differently. Stay until the end, because reason number 6 is the one that nobody ever talks about, and it might be the most important one of all. Reason number 1, they trade time for money forever. Here's the fundamental trap that keeps most people broke their entire lives. You go to work, you trade your time for a paycheck, you spend that paycheck, you go back to work to get another one. Repeat for 40 years. The problem with this model is brutal in its simplicity. You only have 24 hours in a day. Your income is permanently capped by the number of hours you can physically work. No matter how hard you grind, there is a ceiling, and that ceiling is low. The wealthy figured out something completely different. Instead of trading time for money, they build systems and assets that make money while they sleep. Rental properties collecting rent at 3 a.m., dividend stocks paying out quarterly, businesses running without them present, digital products selling automatically. The goal is not to work harder. The goal is to build things that work for you. Every dollar you invest is a tiny employee working around the clock, never sleeping, never calling in sick, never asking for a raise. The moment you start building assets instead of just collecting paychecks, everything changes. Reason number 2, they never learned how money actually works. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Did any teacher ever sit you down and explain compound interest? Did anyone show you how the stock market actually works? Did your school ever dedicate a single class to taxes, investing, or building wealth? For most Americans, the answer is absolutely not, and that is not an accident. The financial system in America is extraordinarily complex, and it heavily rewards people who understand it and quietly punishes people who do not. People who understand money use credit cards to collect rewards and pay 0 interest. People who do not understand money pay 22% interest and make the bank rich. People who understand money use tax advantage accounts like 401ks and Roth IRAs to legally keep more of what they earn. People who do not pay maximum taxes on every dollar. People who understand money buy index funds and let compound interest build their wealth automatically. People who do not let their money sit in a savings account earning next to nothing while inflation eats it alive. Financial literacy is not just knowledge. It is the difference between building wealth and funding someone else's wealth your entire life. Reason number 3, they lifestyle inflate every single raise. This one is sneaky. This one gets even smart, disciplined people. You get a raise. Suddenly you deserve a nicer apartment. You get a promotion. Time for a new car. Your income goes up. Your wardrobe needs an upgrade. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it is one of the most effective wealth killers in existence because it feels completely justified every single time. Here is the brutal math. If you earn $50,000 and spend $50,000, your wealth building rate is 0. If you get a raise to $65,000 and upgrade your lifestyle to match, your wealth building rate is still 0. Income went up $15,000. Wealth building stayed exactly the same. The wealthy do something radically different with raises and windfalls. They lifestyle freeze. When income goes up, expenses stay flat. That gap between income and expenses is immediately redirected into investments. Over a career, that single habit is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions. Next time you get a raise, before you spend a single extra dollar, ask yourself, what asset can I buy with this instead? Reason number 4, they have no written financial goals. Here is a question most people have never seriously answered. How much money do you actually need to be financially free? What is your number? What specific date are you targeting to hit it? What is your written plan to get there? If you cannot answer those questions specifically, you do not have financial goals. You have financial wishes. And wishes do not build wealth. Studies consistently show that people who write down specific financial goals with deadlines are significantly more likely to achieve them than people who keep vague intentions floating around in their heads. Your brain treats a written goal completely differently than a thought. A written goal with a deadline becomes a problem to solve. A thought stays a dream. Get specific. Not, I want to be rich someday. Instead, I will have $500,000 invested by age 45 by investing $1,500 per month, starting this month. That is a goal. That is something your brain can work with. That is something you can measure, track, and adjust. Write it down tonight. Seriously, tonight. Reason number 5. They treat investing like gambling. Nothing destroys more potential wealth faster than confusing investing with gambling. Gambling is buying a single hot stock your coworker mentioned because it is about to moon. Gambling is putting your savings into crypto because someone on social media said it's going to 10 times. Gambling is trying to time the market, selling when it drops, buying when it peaks, and wondering why you always seem to buy high and sell low. Real investing is boring, deliberately, intentionally boring. Real investing is buying a total market index fund every single month, regardless of what the market is doing. It is holding through crashes because you know historically the market has always recovered. It is letting compound interest do the heavy lifting over decades while you live your life. The average actively managed fund, where professional traders are paid millions to pick stocks, underperforms a simple S&P 500 index fund over a 10-year period 85% of the time. If professional traders with billion-dollar resources and teams of analysts cannot consistently beat the market, what makes anyone think they can? Buy index funds, hold forever, do not touch it, get rich slowly. That is the actual formula. Reason number 6. They underestimate the wealth gap that starts at birth. This is the one nobody talks about, and it is important to be completely honest about it. Not everyone starts at the same financial starting line. Some people are born into families with generational wealth, inheritances, financial education at the dinner table, connections, property investment accounts opened at birth. Others start with debt, financial trauma, and parents who themselves never learned how money works. This is real. This matters. And pretending it does not exist does not help anyone. But here is what else is real. Generational wealth can be built in a single generation. It has been done millions of times. Immigrants arriving with nothing. First-generation college graduates. People who started from absolute zero. The gap is real, but it is not permanent. And the people who close it do so by making a decision. A decision that the financial patterns of their family stop with them, that they will be the ones who learn what was never taught, that their children will start at a different line than they did. That decision, made with genuine commitment, is the beginning of generational wealth for every family that has ever built it from scratch. Reason number 7. They give up too early. This might be the biggest reason of all. Building wealth is not linear. It does not feel like progress for a very long time. In the beginning, months of investing, budgeting, and sacrifice, and your net worth barely moves. The numbers feel pointless. The discipline feels unrewarded. This is called the valley of disappointment, and it is where 90% of people quit. What they do not realize is that compound interest works exactly like this. Almost nothing happens for years, and then it explodes. A $10,000 investment at 10% annual return looks like this. Year 1, $11,000. Year 5, $16,000. Year 10, $25,000. Year 20, $67,000. Year 30, $174,000. The growth in the last 10 years absolutely dwarfs everything that came before it. But you only get to year 30 by surviving year 1 through 10 when nothing feels like it is working. The wealthy are not smarter. They are not luckier. They just did not quit during the boring part. Reason number 8. They let fear make their financial decisions. Fear is the most expensive emotion in personal finance. Fear of the market crashing keeps people in cash accounts, earning nothing, while inflation quietly destroys their purchasing power year after year. Fear of looking cheap keeps people overspending on things they do not need to impress people they do not even like. Fear of failure keeps people from starting businesses, side hustles, and investments that could change their entire financial trajectory. Fear of being different keeps people following the same broke financial patterns as everyone around them, because at least everyone is broke together. The wealthy are not fearless. They feel the exact same fears. The difference is they make decisions based on data and strategy, not emotion. When the market drops 30%, fear says, sell everything. Data says this is the greatest sale in investing history. Buy more. When everyone around you is buying a new car, fear of missing out says you need one too. Strategy says that money invested instead will be worth $50,000 in 10 years. Master your financial emotions. Your future net worth depends on it. Reason number 9. They never build a network that pulls them up. Jim Rohn said it best. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. In finance, this is not motivational fluff. It is measurable reality. If your 5 closest friends all live paycheck to paycheck, spend everything they earn, never talk about investing, and think wanting more money is greedy or unrealistic, you will almost certainly do the same. Not because you are weak, because humans are social creatures wired for conformity. We unconsciously match the financial behaviors, beliefs, and standards of our environment. The wealthy surround themselves with people who think bigger, earn more, and invest differently, not to show off, but because that environment constantly pulls their standards upward. You do not need to abandon your friends, but you do need to deliberately add voices to your life that are operating at the financial level you want to reach. Books, podcasts, mentors, communities. Your network is your net worth. Take that seriously. Reason number 10. They never decide to be different. At the core of every single reason on this list is one thing, a decision that was never made. Building wealth is not primarily a financial challenge. It is a decision challenge. At some point, every person who builds wealth makes a conscious, deliberate, non-negotiable decision that they are going to be different. That average is not acceptable. That the default financial path, work, spend, retire, broke, is not their path. That decision changes everything. It changes what you read, who you listen to, how you spend, what you prioritize, what you tolerate, and what you refuse to accept. Most people never make that decision. They drift. They hope. They wish. They compare themselves to people slightly worse off, so they feel okay about where they are. The 10% who build wealth made a decision, usually after a moment of clarity, sometimes after hitting rock bottom, sometimes after watching a video exactly like this one. So here is your moment. Are you going to be in the 90%, or are you making a different decision today? Those are the real reasons why 90% of people never build wealth, and every single one of them comes down to decisions, not destiny. The question is not whether you can build wealth. The question is whether you will decide to. Drop a comment below telling me which reason resonated with you the most. I read every single one, and if you want to know exactly how to start building wealth from zero, that video is coming next week. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it. See you then.